take a look at the lineups for today's game. From the LA Coliseum, let's check the El Salvador lineup.
Well, Kevin, for El Salvador, they're going with fundamentally the same lineup as they've used in their other games. Zinho, and then up top, Romario and Edmundo. Guys up front have to find their finishing touch, Kevin. That really has been what Brazil's problems were in their first two games.
And the one guy who really has to find his touch is this man, Romario.
Well, Romario has Brazil's only goal, but it was a penalty kick. The problem is Romario and company have missed way too many opportunities. He's a finisher. He needs to find the net for Brazil.
Brazil has created a lot of chances.
Sun is out of sight, so to speak, is better for the players because they won't heat up as quickly. As we get a look at Alfaro for El Salvador and Taparel shaking hands with him as they switch sides because of the coin flip. Taparel's got that grin on his face. He always seems to have that grin.
Brazil will be shorthanded in back. Junior Baiano is still suspended. He would be available for the semifinals if they get that far. And also Cesar, who was his replacement, picked up 2 yellows. He is not eligible to play today. So they're going to have to juggle things in back.
Well, and what they're doing, Kevin, to juggle that is they're bringing Mauro Silva, number 5, back to a sweeper or a 4th defender position role. And in so doing that, it does give Salvador the opportunity to expose them a little bit.
Off the kickoff, Mauro Silva. His pass rejected. Rojas the other way. Into the area. Brazil has given up some chances. Now Zé Maria. He is another player who has not really played up to par in this tournament.
Well, the Brazilian team as a whole, Kevin, as we mentioned at the beginning of our game, has just been absolutely ripped apart back home, and don't think that doesn't psychologically impact players. They're all wanting to earn themselves a spot World Cup-wise, and when they hear about the media ripping them apart back home, that suddenly makes them maybe try a little bit too hard, overachieve maybe is the word, and of course, what they need to do is just settle down and play the way that everybody knows how they can.
Mauro Silva just ahead of the defensive end. Edmundo pushes it out wide.
Already, Kevin, we're seeing Brazil do something that they didn't do much in their games against Guatemala and Jamaica, and that is get a touch of the ball for everybody. Passing the ball around, not really being so concerned about going forward. Again, giving everybody a little touch.
Zé Maria plays in Italian Serie A. Battling Cafu for the right back spot for Mario Zagallo. Nice tackle there by Rivera, but then gives the ball right back up. El Salvador in blue, Brazil in yellow and blue. Now Danielson playing more inside today. He had been playing out on the wing more. But they're using Danielson more inside today, at least in the first couple of minutes. Zé Maria. That pass had no pace. De La Cruz breaks it up. And the ball goes back to Brazil, though.
Now, Kevin, already what I'm seeing out of El Salvador that again is different, not to continually make comparisons, but one would think that Salvador would learn by what Guatemala was able to do against Brazil as Jamaica was, and that was tie them. What Salvador is doing is defending with everybody. Guatemala, Jamaica did not do that. They came out and played from the get-go, didn't sit back. You cannot sit back and try and defend against Brazil all game long.
Through the first nearly 3 minutes, it seems like El Salvador, every time they win the ball, they give it right back to Brazil. And you cannot do that for long because Brazil will burn you. Ball played all the way back. Gonçalves. Troubled by a bit of a groin injury, but is playing today. Now Zé Maria on the right side. Brazil, all they have to show for 2 games in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, 2 ties against what many would consider minnows. Danielson tries the through pass, broken up there, and El Salvador will bring it right back. Mauricio Cienfuegos leaves it in the midfield.
In order for Brazil to penetrate down the middle like they just tried a minute ago, they have to make sure they get the wide game going first. Spread the Salvador defenders out, open up those seams in the middle of the defense, and then play the ball through. Thus far, they have not done that.
Pass jumped over Junior's foot, and a throw-in coming up to El Salvador. Great crowd on hand at the LA Coliseum. This tournament has been troubled by rain just about wherever we've gone. Miami 3 days ago, Oakland yesterday, and really until this morning here in Los Angeles. California and the entire West Coast really troubled by El Nino. Castro Borja plays it wide for El Salvador. Now Cienfuegos. Bad touch there. Israel Castro. Crowd noticed it. And Brazil will take over. Zé Maria plays it long. Edmundo to the end line and out. Corner coming up for Brazil. Edmundo has been troubled throughout this entire tournament. He's created some great chances, Rick, but he just has not finished.
And that has really, Kevin, been the problem for Romario, De Silva, all of the different players for Brazil. It's as if they don't know how to finish, which of course we know how much this team can do.
Off the corner, ball knocked down in the box. Edmundo is there, and the shot is blocked off the line. And again, Edmundo has to wonder what he has to do, that time from point blank range, inside the 6-yard box. The cross in front rejected across the end line. A corner coming up for Brazil. Kevin Sansao getting the final touch for Brazil.
A replay here, we see Alfaro drop the ball. Edmundo winds up with it, and that just typifies all of Brazil's problems. Instead of placing it, they blast it.
And the goal! Edmundo! 7 minutes in. The drought finally ends for Edmundo.
For Salvador, you've got to maintain your matchups. Number 20, Ihareta, he leaves Edmundo, lets him get to the ball first. Edmundo beats goalkeeper to the ball as Cienfuegos stays on the goalpost.
What was Cienfuegos doing?
His responsibility is to hold the near post, not come off of it, other than if the ball's right to him. Ihareta, on the other hand, has the matchup. He's got to stay with him. He lets Edmundo go. Little communication problem between Cienfuegos and Ihareta, and as a result, Edmundo presented with the chip.
I'm just amazed at Cienfuegos. All he's got to do is step out one step, and he can head that ball away.
Well, it's one of those where the ball, if there's a pause or just a little hesitation, Cienfuegos never even moved. He was selling himself to holding on to the pole. On the other hand, Ihareta, I think, thought what you thought, Kevin, and that is, come on, Mauricio, you got to come off of that pole. And as a result, he lets Edmundo go, and bang, it's a goal. Nothing that Alfaro, Salvadorian goalkeeper, can do.
So Brazil, in the 7th minute, strikes first in this very important game against El Salvador. Zinho plays it long for Edmundo. El Salvador with numbers back. And Edmundo taken down. Throw in. Zé Maria for Brazil. Now Zinho. Moro Silva plays it all the way back. Well, we said against Guatemala, after a subpar performance against Jamaica, look for a big performance by Brazil. They didn't come up with it, but maybe this is going to be the game. There's Romario. That play broken up.
Well, Romario's trying to get the ball to his right foot instead of just taking it to the left. Therefore, he runs directly into a Salvadoran defender.
Running on. Cerritos. Ronald Cerritos plays with the San Jose Clash of Major League Soccer. His team's leading scorer. Here's Romario moving in. Chips out in front and right there. Alvaro. First name with a V, second name with an F.
Alvaro does a good job to come off of his line. Although, unless you were close enough to see it, Romario so quick with his feet. Does a quick flick of the ball to try and get it to Edmundo, who was at the back post.
Danielson working the left side. Iraheta pokes it away and setting up a corner.
The pass from Edmundo. Watch Romario's quick flick with the right foot, looking to get the ball to Edmundo at the back post, just not enough oomph.
Out in front, the header through the 18-yard box and out. Throw-in coming up to Brazil. Brazil with the lead.
Evan, Salvador is continuing to drop people, continuing to try and defend. Worst thing that could happen to any team against Brazil is to give up a goal early, especially a team that's looking for anything to give themselves some hope and confidence. You don't want to play against a Brazilian team with a lot of confidence. Potentially, if Salvador continues to defend and only defend, the floodgates could be open, and this game could very easily turn into a rout.
Brazil is that good. They've taken a storm of criticism throughout South America, in particular in their home country. From the media, from the pundits, folks who believe that this is definitely a subpar performance. Ball played to the arc. Rejected there by Gonçalves. Takedown from behind. And the foul, Danielson taken down. Danielson, great left foot. Many wondering if he'll stay put after the World Cup.
Given that pass forward by Zé Maria, not quite sure what's going on. He is expected to be a real leader for that back four for Brazil. And of course, outside defenders within Brazilian football are almost as renowned for their attacking attributes going down the field as they are their defending. We have not seen what we've come to expect so much from Zé Maria with his game in the Italian Serie A. It's as if he has no confidence. It's as if he's just here for the ride, not worried about whether he's going to play or not.
Once again trying to spring Edmundo. Iraheta. Back to Alfaro. And he just plays it out. Throw into Brazil. That was just a giveaway.
Well, it was good pressure by Brazil, having their forward step up, their midfielder step up, and defenders step up. Very important to see them do that because that's a sign of cohesiveness, which we haven't seen them with a lot of in their first two games in the CONCACAF Cup. If you do it on an individual basis, it makes it easy for the attacking team, or Salvador in this case, to play the ball by those people stepping up, and in the end just creates frustration.
There's Romario out in front. Ball dumped, but not out. Zé Maria holds it in. Zé Maria. Now on the wing. Assunção. His cross in front to the back post. Well, what a great chance there for Edmundo at the 6-yard line.
Well, it's a great cross. It actually started, Kevin, with a great run by Zé Maria. Number 17, Assunção, serves it. Edmundo just not able to get enough head on this ball as he goes high. Just trying to redirect it at the goal. Not quite sure what Alfaro was doing coming off his goal line. He wasn't going to get to that anyway, as Gallo has a more relaxed look on his face.
As he should. Again with Brazil, it's not winning, it's how you win. It's the stylish play.
You're absolutely right. You can win a game, you can dominate play, as Brazil really did in their games against Costa Rica, or excuse me, Guatemala and Jamaica. But at the end of the day, they and their fans, the media, have been so spoiled by the success of Brazilian soccer that if they aren't winning big and looking good in doing it, the fans aren't happy.
Danielson tries a 360. Cienfuegos taken down. Here's Danielson taking it wide. Now Junior. Moro Silva. Here's Assunção leaving in the midfield for Edmundo, who has the Brazilian goal so far. Scored it in the 7th minute. Now Danielson goes wide. Back there with him. De La Henta. Errant pass there. El Salvador looking to see if they can counterattack. Ronald Cerritos plays it and out. Really, El Salvador so far doesn't seem to have a clue offensively. Defensively, they're defending okay, but they just don't have a clue offensively.
Kevin, they're playing build-up soccer other than that last opportunity there. What that means is you have to have people around the ball in order to maintain possession. Otherwise, when you try that long pass forward, it's likely to find nobody there because you've been building. They haven't had a chance to get up the field.
Guillermo Rivera gives up the ball immediately. And that has been the story for El Salvador through the first almost 16 minutes of this match. This has been really a disappointing offensive performance so far for El Salvador, and they still find themselves down a goal. The time is going to come in this game when, Rick, they're simply going to have to abandon this strategy and start playing it a little more wide open.
Well, the bottom line is they will. A lot of times teams approach Brazil with so much concern and respect for their abilities that they end up trying to just stay close, get into the second half, and only then do they really invest themselves in order to try and win the game.
Ball played out wide. De La Cruz. Savic. Stepped into by Assunção. Savic gets it right back. Former Yugoslavian international. Ball played wide. Castro had it poked away. Now gets it back. Rivera on the right side. It's really the first time El Salvador has put 3 and 4 passes together.
Well, they're really trying to build play, but they aren't getting the quality runs. Actually, a bad foul there from number 5, Mauro Silva. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get a yellow card where you see him, he's beat. He just grabbed some arm. I believe it was on number 9, Castro.
Alfonso Castro Borja, the player taken down.
I think the discussion there is Castro Borja knows that Silva could have tripped him, which would have certainly been more of a greater concern for injury. Instead, he grabbed him, and in a nice way, I guess that's a polite way of fouling a person.
Free kick in front, redirected, the ball loose and cleared across the line. Gonçalves, the last man defensively, as Tafarel was at the opposite end of the goal. And if it's not for Gonçalves, that is a goal.
Well, I think that Salvador was fortunate not to be called offside, but the concern is all the Brazilian defenders stood. If not for Gonzalez, as you mentioned, getting back, Salvador has a tap in.
Romario moving in, the shot, the goal, but hold everything. It's a goal. Romario. Everybody looked to the linesman, but it is a goal for Brazil. 19th minute.
We're starting to get closer to seeing Zagallo smile. Romario showing the finishing touch that everybody wanted to see. Edmundo with the great pass. Romario takes the ball to the goal and beats goalkeeper Alfaro to the near post. Great shot from Romario. He just looks up, sees Alfaro too much to the middle of his goal, and he buries the ball in the near post of the net.
This is the Brazil we are used to seeing. Romario scoring his second goal of the Gold Cup tournament. Scoring on a penalty kick against Jamaica. And Romario, to his credit, he has come close. He has scored a couple of goals that have been called back on offsides.
Kevin, the missing ingredient, other than having been called offside and having a couple goals called back, has in fact been missed opportunities.
Long shot, kicked out, rebound in front, the shot, but the offside flag went up. Play has been stopped. Offside flag went up.
Well, Kevin, what happens is that Edmundo and Romario both anticipate the direct shot off of the free kick. It gets touched. I believe it's then Silva that crushes this shot from a long way away. And you see, on a quick look there, 3 Brazilian players in an offside position. This little flurry with Edmundo with the left, Edmundo with the right is for naught. Offside had already been called.
Tafarel has no problem with that one. And Zé Maria takes the distribution. Assunção plays it back. Gonçalves plays it to Junior. Back to Mauro Silva. Brazil hungry. This is a different Brazil team than we saw in the last 2 games. Cerritos brings it down. Long shot handled by Alfaro. Alfaro, last couple of times down the field, has given up rebounds.
Well, part of the reason why a goalkeeper at this level, Alfaro, does give up rebounds is the Brazilians are so well known, Kevin, for when they take shots, the ball never flies true or straight. It's like a knuckleball. It curves, it dips, it swirls. Best thing a goalkeeper can do is knock it down and then pick it up after it stops moving.
Back heel from Danielson. Brazil attacking again, this time rejected by Nelson Rojas. Now they change sides. Zé Maria out in front, headed high. It comes down. Edmundo couldn't get a piece of it.
Individual ability, one of the trademarks of Brazilian players. Edmundo dances 2 players and then lays the ball off.
Offside flag went up. Brazil now with 6 shots, 2 for El Salvador.
Kevin, the problem with Salvador is, outside of the fact that they're down by 2 goals, they continue to try and defend. You cannot sit back against Brazil.
Both coaches up along their respective touchlines. Everybody is coaching today. Assunção gives it up to De La Cruz. De La Cruz gets another touch. Now Assunção just dumps it across the half line. Castro Borja plays it across the half line. Cienfuegos, who may be playing his last international game for his country. De La Cruz gives the ball up, but Brazil pushes it across the touchline, and we will get a throw-in to El Salvador.
Starting to rain a little bit, Kevin, which of course will make the field that much more sloppy. Harder for players to control the ball and move it around, and more prone to mistakes.
Hard to believe just 2 days ago this field was underwater after torrential rains hit the Pacific coast. Romario lays it off. Takedown there. Sequeira says play on.
Evan, anytime a player has to slide inside his penalty area, you have to be concerned. When a player slides, there is a certain element of desperation to it. Don't want to get caught tripping a player and giving up a penalty.
Brazil just looks to be a step too fast as you look at the rain, and a great tackle in the area by Iraheta.
What a great touch by Romario, and then a saving tackle, as you mentioned, Kevin, by Iraheta.
For Iraheta, that's a tremendous challenge playing back there against the great Brazilian front players like Edmundo and Romario, Denilson. Well, you look at the rain coming down, you can see it from that angle. Well, the forecast all day has been for sunny skies, very nice weather, very balmy, temperature in the 60s, but then the weather turning a little bit nasty, and that's exactly what has happened. Assunção plays it to the outside. De La Cruz breaks that play up. Now the ball played wide. Cerritos can't control it.
Well, good smart defending there by Flavio Conceição.
Edmundo takes it to the end line. The cross. Ooh, he tried to just bend it in. I'm not sure if that was a cross or a shot, but he came dangerously close to scoring again.
I think he's actually trying to cross the ball, but the fact that his momentum, as we see on the replay, watch him kind of fall back as he goes to cross this, causing him to reach a little bit, putting some rotation on the ball. And you see Romario there looking unhappily at Edmundo as Zagallo looks at his medical staff treating Denilson.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it looks like they're looking at the right ankle. Yeah, he just got kicked. Jorge Rodriguez with a little love tap for Denilson.
One of the ways that the Brazilian players can avoid that sort of scenario, Kevin, is play the ball quickly. Don't allow a defensive player to get close enough to kick you. If you have possession of the ball, they can in fact do so without potentially getting themselves cautioned or ejected from the game by the referee.
A look at Rodrigo Badia Sequeira. Sequeira from Costa Rica. Linesman from Canada and Trinidad and Tobago. Fireworks starting to go off here in the stadium. De La Cruz plays it ahead. Pass taken out by Zé Maria. Conceição run down from behind by Cerritos. Brazil playing with a 2-goal lead, something they have not had the luxury of in this tournament. Mauro Silva. Now they'll change sides. Out of the area. Played to the outside. Now Junior crosses in front, headed out. Visevic clearing it out of danger.
Kevin, clear concern for Zagallo and the Brazilian team is Denilson being carried off on a stretcher.
Not a good sign.
Likely to go and have some x-rays done.
It appeared he had been kicked along the far touchline. And if my memory serves me, I believe it was Jorge Rodriguez. But he limped off in an awful lot of pain. Rivera gets it right back. Now to Cienfuegos, taken down. And the foul.
Evan making comparisons between Cienfuegos and, say, Jose Maria, Flavio Conceição, Denilson, Edmundo. Cienfuegos is receiving the ball very stationary, not in motion, whereas if you watch those players that I just mentioned for Brazil, they move and receive the ball in motion, which of course makes it harder to defend.
Free kick, El Salvador. The shot hits the wall. And a Brazilian player is down, maybe hurt. Sergio Manuel is in a bit of agony here.
It's just a crushing free kick, Kevin. That's just powered. Number 18, Sergio Manuel, ends up being the player that unfortunately bears the brunt of that power. I know in practices, one of the things that you just hated to be was one of the players in the dummy wall as the guys that took free kicks.
Is that why they call it the dummy wall?
You do have to be a dummy because although in practice you don't see guys hitting the ball as we just did there with Salvador, you're looking for more finesse work. This is just a blast from straight behind the goal.
Ooh. Topples over.
Some of the, as we see him up on his feet, velocity of a ball. Some of the stronger shooters in this game hit 80, 85 miles an hour.
And that was from close range.
You're talking something a little less than 10 yards. Ouch.
Visevic plays it up the wing. Now gets the return pass. Visevic's pass, though, deflected by Mauro Silva. And El Salvador gets it back. Visevic sends it high. And the foul here against Brazil. Pretty tough play in this one.
Changes that I think that Salvador needs to make to get themselves going is they've got to be a lot more mobile. They've got to get people in front of the players with the ball. They have to be moving, anticipating the pass, not waiting for the pass to be made and then trying to move to get to it. For Brazil, it's likely that we can expect that they'll continue to play very deliberate, a counterattack, meaning moving the ball quickly down the field every once in a while as they seem to catch Salvador off guard, and look for them to have several more opportunities just based on the ability of their players.
5 men behind the ball. Ball crossed out in front and cleared out of danger. It was Nelson Rojas that got the ball out of there. Rivera plays it to the outside. Israel Castro, his crossing pass.
Salvador tried to attack with 3 players there against 5 Brazilian defenders, and none of the other 6 Salvador players even made an effort to get upfield.
Jorge Rodriguez plays it to center. Visevic on the left side. Now Ronald Cerritos. Official time being kept down on the field. And we are most probably into injury time. In fact, we are now 1 minute into injury time. So a free kick to El Salvador.
Well, Kevin, here we'll likely see the same scenario we did moments ago.
Here's Cerritos, the shot. As they tried to sneak Ronald Cerritos inside the box.
Actually, a very good bit of surprise play there by Salvador. Quick little chip rather than lining up the free kick the way we saw moments ago. And Salvador should, in this situation with so little time left, send everybody forward.
Out in front, Taparel got a piece of it. And that time El Salvador kept 3 men back. Here's Cienfuegos with time running out in the first half. Vicevic gets it back, pushes it all the way back. Carcamo feeds in. Alfaro plays it out. And I mean really out.
Well, better that than to lose possession in front of his goal and give up another goal this late in the first half.
And there you go. The whistle sounds, ending the first half. 2 goals in the first half. Edmundo in the 7th. Romario in the 19th. The drought has ended for Brazil, and they take a 2-goal lead into the locker room at halftime. Stay with us. Our halftime show begins as we continue from the LA Coliseum here on Fox Sports World.
You can see it. Brazil with 7 shots. Very telling statistic in this game, Kevin, is the 6 saves for El Salvador. That means that of the 7, rained hard continuously from virtually the time that they stepped off of the field into the locker rooms. That's going to allow the players to have to make some adjustments because it clearly has made the field a little bit more sloppy.
And you can see how hard it is raining right now, and this crowd right now, a lot of it running for cover. El Salvador. William Renderos. Over 100 caps for El Salvador. So Renderos on for Carcamo for El Salvador. And they have a huge hole to dig themselves out of. El Salvador trailing by 2. Edmundo and Romario, the goals for Brazil. In the 7th minute for Edmundo, the 19th for Romario.
Well, Kevin, I've already seen in just the first less than a minute in this game, now in the second half, that Salvador has moved Mauricio Cienfuegos to a more attacking position, wearing the number 12 jersey, as out on the right side, number 7, William Renderos tries to battle the ball and work it forward. But that's very important, that Salvador gets more people in front, because if they can do that, I think that it will give them at least a better chance of some opportunities at goal.
Edmundo with the steal. Ball played through. They were looking for Romario. Instead, the ball loose.
You really have to feel for number 9, Zinho, on that one. Almost pulls off a great move, but the ball, because of the wet field, stuck a little bit, and then he sort of stumbled over it.
The conditions are deteriorating here in Los Angeles. Foul there. Cienfuegos went down. Been a good shot of the rain coming down on what has been just a tremendous crowd. We have not seen any attendance figures yet, but we would estimate that it's in the 40, 50, 60,000 range, somewhere in there.
I'll put it at 50 plus. Lots and lots of people, maybe not looking that way right now because some have clearly headed for shelter to get out of the rain. We even had a little thunder at halftime.
Pile up in the middle. And El Salvador. Rodriguez plays it to the outside for Cerritos. Visevic. And we notice Visevic has switched sides. Now Visevic going back to his normal left side.
I was going to say, if he stays there too long, we call it brown nosing, staying on the coaches or the bench side of the field.
The Brazilian drummers are going at it. Junior. Manuel plays it back. Gonçalves. Rivera. Cerritos drops it back.
And when you look at the short little touch, very quick passing, often when you see the ball not get to its target, part of is just the challenge that both teams of players are having in terms of adapting to some of the standing water that's on the field in the mud.
Looking to spring Romario. Pass just over his head. Alvaro Alfaro distributes. You know, Rick, it really is a miracle after the rain they've had here in the Los Angeles area over the last week. And you and I have had a chance to miss it. But we're told yesterday it was coming down at almost an inch an hour for about 4 or 5 hours.
And California doesn't do rain like that very well. We lose houses, mountainsides, roads. Folks in Miami think an inch an hour. Shoot, they do an inch every 30 seconds kind of thing in some of their storms.
There's Romario. Pushes it outside. Finally cleared out of danger. Rivera pushes it to the left side. Interesting to chat at halftime with Steve Sampson, head coach of the U.S. national team.
Very likable man, very good coach in the sense that he has developed just a great rapport with the players. They really have connected with him. They respect him. They go out there and they give that little bit extra, which of course only comes from players that have that good relationship with their leader.
Manuel on the left side for Brazil. El Salvador scoring chances have been few and far between in this one. But they're pushing more people out. Here's the long shot.
One of those subtle little things and differences as to how these players are playing. As we watch this game, Brazil, when they have the ball passed to them, look how they automatically try and turn forward.
Here's Edmundo. Last touch betrayed him as he had just cruised past Nelson Rojas.
Such great ability by many of the players. Edmundo, great touch, great dribbling attribute. The other side of the point I made a moment ago, watch the Salvadoran players as they receive the ball. Their first touch is most often back or square rather than towards the Brazil goal.
Now the other way, Conceição. His long crossing attempt looking for Romario. And it stays in. Visevic plays it out. Now up the wing it goes. El Salvador playing from 2 goals down. Just over 7 minutes gone in the second half. Brazil has played a masterful game, something we expected in the first 2 games against Jamaica and Guatemala, but simply didn't see. This is a team that is playing like it's very much in control. Here's Junior on the left side for Brazil. Gonzalez plays it back. Manuel. Gonçalves. Here's Junior. Up into the offense. The cross right there, though. Alfaro.
Well, Junior's cross there was the equivalent of having to play out of a bunker. Ball just kind of sticking in the mud. And as a result, it's very difficult to maintain your footing and in turn strike the ball with any confidence. Junior showing that he didn't have either or working in his favor in a relatively weak cross.
Rodriguez plays it to the center of the field. And the whistle here. Foul spotted. There you get a look at the torrential rain that is coming down here at the LA Coliseum, but they play on. Manuel looks wide. Zinho in that muddy part of the pitch, and really the worst part of this field right now is down just to the right of Alfaro. Salvadoran fans finally have something to cheer about. Cienfuegos plays it to center. Now Israel Castro plays it wide. Bisevic. He'll overlap. Cross near side. Cienfuegos. Looking. Pass deflected. And finally cleared out of danger by Brazil. Rivera steps up though. Guillermo Rivera. Raheta. Back to Rivera. Foul going in here. Conceição saying, what did I do?
I think his belief is that he got enough of the ball that it shouldn't have been a foul. This here now is getting more into a shooting range as we get a second look on Conceição's foul, where we might see either Mauricio Cienfuegos take this free kick. He does that with his club team, the Galaxy, or number 8, Castro Borja.
Castro Borja approaches out in front. Oh, tried to play the ball square back to Castro Borja, who was making a run. And Cienfuegos whistled down for the foul.
Mauricio would be the first one to tell you that defending is not one of his strengths. And there he did a good job to give chase, but did not do much else other than draw a foul. Ten
fouls for Brazil, 7 for El Salvador. Ball up the touchline and out. Brazil will get it back. You look at Israel Castro. He actually changed citizenship. I guess something not uncommon in this day and age, just so he could play on a national team.
Well, the United States, Preki, actually changing citizenship and becoming a U.S. citizen several years ago, does happen quite frequently. Part of it is that soccer being such a global sport, players, it is very common for them to travel to other countries to play and often find they like what they experience. Preki, I actually had the opportunity to play several years of indoor soccer with him, and he just fell in love with America. Married an American girl.
Israel Castro, a native of Brazil. So this has to be a thrill for him playing against the national side of his former country. Edmundo spins away from danger. Edmundo still on his feet. Edmundo putting on a dribbling exhibition here. Out pushes it outside. The cross over the head of Alfaro. Assunção on the finishing end of a great dribbling exhibition by Edmundo.
Well, what makes his dribbling skills so good is his balance and his first couple of steps as he moves the ball forward.
He is brilliant. Ball crossed to Junior. Junior steps up, plays it into space. The cross to the back post, nobody there except Renderos. And Renderos works his way out of trouble. Bisevic to center. Cienfuegos gets a head on it for El Salvador. But Junior corrals this one. Junior again. Guillermo Rivera plays it back. Now gets it back. Plays it into space for Cienfuegos. He'll change sides. Fans of El Salvador have not had much to really cheer about. Renderos plays it back. Rodriguez pushes it wide. Here's Ronald Cerrito. Sweet cross as he slipped down. Boy, Edmundo is absolutely amazing.
Kevin,
the more you watch him, the more you admire him. And this is a guy that might not make the national team.
Well, the ingredients to being a good dribbler are control with the ball and balance. Qualifications to create a good scoring opportunity are a good cross, as Romario was wide open in front of the goal. But the cross from the right from Assunção was just off target.
Washington de la Cruz into the game. Jose Escobar is out in the 60th minute.
A key for this El Salvadorian team right now, Kevin, is the play of Mauricio Cienfuegos. De la Cruz coming in, I think, to help him in that role, but he really is very much the playmaker. Great vision, great individual ability. Thus far, what we've really seen of him mostly is just passing the ball. He needs to create an added point to the attack for Salvador by trying to dribble a little bit in order to force the Brazilian defenders to step up and then therefore allow him to pull the strings by way of some quality passing.
Zinho plays it out wide. Junior, De La Cruz bangs it off the shins of Junior, and El Salvador controls. Dumped it up to the half line. Israel Castro laid it off. Cienfuegos couldn't catch up to it. Both the goals in the first half. Edmundo scoring in the 7th minute. Romario in the 19th. A foul here. Mario Zagallo all bundled up.
The scornful looks, Kevin, have been on Zagallo's face all tournament long. He has not been happy with the officiating. His concern is that he feels that players are being allowed to take cheap shots at some of his players without there being any sort of enforcement of the rules by the referees. Edmundo just showing some speed and direct play, penetrating right down the middle of the Salvadoran defense.
Alfaro. He played in 7 second-round World Cup games. Lost partial sight and was out of action for a while. Edmundo will take it. He bends it over the bar, drawing the whistles of many of the Brazilian fans.
Very difficult to strike this ball from this distance on goal. Edmundo having to do that little extra bit to get power in order to beat Alfaro in goal. Unfortunately, in the process, getting underneath the ball a little bit and sending it high.
And of course, when you talk about free kicks, remember who is not here, who's playing in Spain right now, is Roberto Carlos, maybe one of the greatest free kick artists in the world. He scored a goal in the Tournament de France, which may be, I don't know, the goal of the year, much less maybe the goal of the decade. A spectacular goal for Roberto Carlos.
Now, one of the things that Brazil has is role models for the youngsters that grow up. And of course, when you have a Roberto Carlos to try and emulate, you go out into your yard or out into the school grounds, park, wherever it is, even just in the empty fields, and you get yourself a ball and you just over and over again practice bending it around different things, and that's how they get to be as good as they are.
Cienfuegos dishes it off, but Manuel breaks the play up. Zinho the other way, pushes it out wide. The cross in front. Alfaro has no problem with that, and distributes to De La Cruz.
Edmundo actually being very active within this Brazilian offense, which is of course something that may just get him a spot on the Brazil team come France later this summer.
Now Cienfuegos outside the arc. Junior goes down, and the free kick to Brazil. Just over 19 minutes gone in the second half. Racing back Nelson Rojas. Now Renderos, the second half substitute. Vicevic. Injured player down on the field.
Well, for all the times that Edmundo has gone down, little payback there. Players protect themselves. There was a clear message there by Edmundo. He went in hard on his tackle.
Cerritos dispossessed, and the ball played across the touchline. Injured player is down. Let's see, it looks like Renderos.
Renderos with possession, and just look at the tackle by Edmundo. That's a message sender. That's of, okay, you guys want to go ahead and come at us or me. Turnabout's fair play.
Is that a yellow card offense?
Oh, I definitely. I think that is definitely a yellow card foul, because it is clearly done with only the purpose in mind of sending a message and or injuring the number 7 Renderos for Salvador. And of course, it's in kind of a nondescript, harmless part of the field. Why would a player go into a tackle so hard when he has no chance of winning the ball, and Salvador's not threatening to score a goal from way back there?
Monday night, El Salvador, Jamaica. We will not have that one for you, but we will have the USA in action on Tuesday. The first semifinal game of this CONCACAF Gold Cup. We'll have it for you right here on Fox Sports World, where you see the very best in soccer from around the world. Right now, some great soccer right here in the US of A. Cienfuegos looks wide for De La Cruz. De La Cruz running on, but Junior got there first. De La Cruz just a step slow. You can see the speed of the Brazilians. That was Mauro Silva. And Silva plays it up the touchline. Manuel. Crosses. Romario tried to keep possession. Vicevic gives way to Rodriguez.
Well, Kevin, in effect, what this win does for Brazil.
Edmundo, the shot blocked. And a throw in coming up to Brazil.
Yeah, not a good decision there by Edmundo to kind of pull up and take a shot from there. Never really forced the Salvadoran defenders to make much of an adjustment.
Brazil on the attack. Junior lays it back. Manuel dumps it back. Mauro Silva.
And what I started to say is this result, should it stand, qualifies Brazil to advance. Now what they have to do is sit and wait the outcome of the Jamaica-Salvador game.
Ronald Cerritos is getting set to come out. Getting set to check in. Jorge Gonzalez. So Cerritos of the San Jose Clash of Major League Soccer comes out. And Gonzalez will check in. In the 69th minute, the substitution. Here's Edmundo taking it wide. And out. Throw in to Brazil. They lead 2-0. And the big guns have been fired tonight. Romario, Edmundo, two of the players you would have expected to score in the first three games, other than a PK. Romario has been silent, so has Edmundo, although both have had great chances. But tonight both are on the score sheet. Throw in again to Brazil.
And of course, if I'm the United States or Mexico waiting to see whom we play semifinal wise, I worry that the sleeping giant has been awakened.
Zé Maria plays it to the middle. They look for Romario, and the foul going in against El Salvador, and a free kick coming up to Brazil. Mario Zagallo. He has won a World Cup as a player, as a head coach, and as an assistant coach 4 times. Zagallo knows what it takes at the international level.
Although maybe a little bit far out, look for Brazil again to work some magic on the direct free kick.
Left-footed shot. Wide of goal. Good chance though for Zinho.
Well, Zinho strikes that ball very well with his left foot. The problem is, to get the velocity to beat the goalkeeper, you lose effects, the ability to get the ball to dip and curve as much. And as it is, carrying the ball past the goalpost before it actually does dip down, which would have been necessary to get it on target and into the goal.
And a throw in coming up here. De La Cruz on the right side for El Salvador. De La Cruz, just a youngster. Castro Borja plays it all the way back.
Kevin, I would kind of expect, even like to see Zagallo make some player changes here. Get some playing time for some guys that have not had an opportunity to play in the tournament thus far. Important in the sense that if he has to use them in later rounds, semifinals or even the finals, that they just have their tournament legs about them.
Little miscommunication from El Salvador, because Zagallo still has a lot of questions on this team.
He's got to see the guys play if he's going to make decisions. Certainly one of the bigger decisions coming into this tournament that he wanted to make was regarding Romario and Edmundo, how well they relate and work together as dual strikers or dual attacking forwards for the Brazil team.
Ball played ahead. Errant ball there, though. Manuel taken down. We may get a caution here. We should, and we do.
Well, it's a must. Number 8, Castro Borja, I think was just outright beat. Cienfuegos tries to play him the ball. Number 18, Sergio Manuel gets there first. Lets the ball run and touches it to go past the number 8, Castro Borja, and he just grabs a hold of him.
73rd minute for the caution for Castro Borja. Ball pushed out wide. Washington De La Cruz. Let's see what he can do. De La Cruz. His shot just over the bar. Tafarel was ready.
Tafarel got to see the shot all the way, Kevin. A little bit of a wake-up maybe for him, having have not done much all game long. Good look there of seeing the number 5 for Salvador, De La Cruz's shot. Tafarel just sort of lets it go over the bar and above his outstretched arm.
Moro Silva. Zinho plays it upfield. Edmundo got a touch. Headed towards the area. Ball just died. There was no bounce to that ball. It just absolutely died on the turf. Romario looking for the loose ball. And a goal kick coming up for Alvaro Alfaro of El Salvador. Well, it's amazing much of this crowd of 55,027 has stayed around.
And that's entertainment value. They know that Brazil can entertain with the best of them at any time, any moment in the course of a game. They don't want to leave for fear that they might miss one of the best goals of the tournament. Some outstanding individual play that Brazil as a team and individuals is so capable of doing.
Junior finds Moro Silva. Play broken up. And that time going down was Castro Borja.
Well, Edmundo gets a yellow card. Kind of a silly play for him. It's important for forwards to put pressure on and challenge for the ball, but when you're 80, 85 yards away from your goal, as we see Edmundo's left leg clip the outside or left foot of Castro Borja.
76th minute on the caution for Edmundo. Hard takedown there. Castro Borja kind of returning the favor.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the next Gold Cup game tomorrow night between the national team from El Salvador and Jamaica. And the winner of this game will advance to the next semi-final round.
Now Edmundo withdrawn, brings it forward. Romario got a touch. Now they play it outside. To the line, the cross just dies on the far side. Crossed in front again and redirected wide. Zinho with the one-timer. Almost made it 3-0.
Well, such a difficult one. Romario starts to go to play it back, sees the defender adjust, and he just pounds this ball across the mouth of the goal. That's one of those where it almost comes at you as strong as a shot.
That's almost self-defense more than anything else.
The good news is all you got to do is touch it in the right direction and it's a goal. The bad news is it's coming at you about 60 miles an hour. That's not so easy to do.
Russo, who plays the right side for Brazil, is getting set to check into the game. We are guessing that because Russo plays on the right side, that Zé Maria will come out, but we'll wait and see.
Russo came on in Brazil's last game against Guatemala, sort of coming in a similar role.
So Zagallo's going to get a look at some other players. Jorge Gonzalez broke that play up. The pass, though, off the mark. Conceição will bring it upfield for Brazil. Just under 13 minutes to go. Here's an opportunity. Romario into the area, but sliding out was Alfaro.
Romario just using sheer physical attribute, knocking the ball between two Salvadoran defenders and then sprinting between them. Alfaro able to come out and get the ball, but the service, Romario receives this ball, great touch, looks up, sees a gap, plays the ball through there, but Alfaro quick off his line and able to make the play.
And it will be Zé Maria who comes off in the 79th minute. So Russo will get his second opportunity to show what he can do here in the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
And really a great opportunity for him, Kevin. Zé Maria, so much expectation for what he would bring to this Brazilian team, and I just haven't seen it at all in all of the playing time that Zé Maria has had in the 3 games thus far.
Giovanni Elber is getting set to check in, the Bayern Munich striker. Of course, you'll see the best of the Bundesliga every week, Fridays and Saturdays here on Fox Sports World. And if you want to see Zé Maria in Parma, we have Italian Serie A every Sunday right here on Fox Sports World.
Giovanni Elber warming up, getting ready to come in, Kevin. Speculation-wise, got to believe that either Romario or Edmundo will come out of the game.
In the last game, it was Edmundo who came off. We'll see if maybe he switches things and takes Romario off this time, but we'll find out. They play it out wide. Junior. Brazil very comfortable, very confident. They're up by 2 goals. So in the 81st minute, Giovanni Elber will come on. And Edmundo, who scored the first goal of the match in the 7th minute, he'll come off.
Kevin, he really has been the spark for this Brazilian team, not only by way of scoring the goal, but just his sheer effort, making himself available and really being the link between defense or midfield play and the offense.
I want to see if we can see some of the greatness of Giovanni Elber.
Is his name Giovanni Elber, or is it Elber Giovanni?
Playing for Giovanni Trapattoni for Bayern Munich. Elber transferred for $6.7 million from Stuttgart a year ago. And I'd say that's a pretty fair sum in any denomination. And that transfer, I might add, is the richest over the last year in Germany.
And often it's a good little payday for the players, because a player like Giovanni Elber, through his success and the contract that he has, is likely to receive a percentage somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 50% of that sum.
Foul whistle down. Russo. Here's how it happened.
Well, just kind of a knee-knocking sort of thing. Number 17, Rodriguez, goes in on the challenge and bumps knees with Russo, pushing him in the process, and it now becomes a free kick for Brazil.
The shot blocked. And all the way back, Gonçalves.
Kevin, is really a great opportunity as we see a bad foul. Number 18 for Brazil, Sergio Manuel, injured. Zagallo again off his bench, showing a look of concern. As you see, same player involved in the last infraction, number 17, Rodriguez.
13 fouls in this half for El Salvador. Just 6 for Brazil in the half.
Brazil is really in a great position to really not have to foul much, Kevin. The fact that they have a lead, the fact that the Salvadorian team, for the most part, really has spent the greater portion of time just simply defending, not really stepping up on people other than when the ball arrives in their defensive third. Salvador, on the other hand, has been just constantly chasing. Having been in games like that myself before, you feel like you're chasing your tail, because the Brazilian team has really moved the ball very effectively around the field, ultimately creating the scoring opportunities that have, certainly in the first half, resulted in their goals.
One player we have not seen from Major League Soccer, Raul Diaz-Arce, leading all-time scorer in Major League Soccer. Nice through ball here to the end line and across. That time Romario streaking down the right side and cutting in. Romario, you never know where you're going to find him. He'll come from the left side, from the right side, straight down the middle. So dangerous wherever.
Just an absolute great talent.
Alfaro may have injured himself, pointing to his lower abdominals. De La Cruz gets a touch for El Salvador. Played wide. Renderos.
One of the points I don't think I've mentioned for why El Salvador has virtually been totally ineffective in this game is they're a team that needs possession of the ball. Their abilities, their players are at their best when they are doing what Brazil has done in this game, and by the fact that Brazil has just done a great job in really maintaining possession, dominating ball time, it's really kept El Salvador from getting into theirs.
Manuel out in front, the header hit the side of the net.
Giovanni Elber at the back post, looking to sneak one in. At a very acute angle as the cross is played, beats goalkeeper Alfaro, and you see Elber going high and trying to direct it.
There's Romario setting up out in front, the shot, the goal! Giovanni Elber! And it's 3-0 Brazil!
A hint.
87th minute. Wow.
It starts off with a bad goal kick that ultimately Elber gets to Romario. Romario back to him. Elber one-on-one with Alfaro. and he just slots the ball underneath the goalkeeper and into the net for Brazil's third goal of the game.
So Brazil bolts out to a 3-0 lead. And with under 3 minutes to play, Washington de la Cruz.
Kevin, there is some significance to the goals. Should there be a tie between Brazil and Jamaica in advancing through, that of course totally dependent upon initially just the result that Jamaica has tomorrow. Brazil would move into 5 points. Jamaica right now with 4. Jamaica would have to tie, and only then would the goal differential become a factor in terms of determining first and second place in the group.
Now the other way, Israel Castro. His pass deflects out. De la Cruz with the throw-in for El Salvador. Now, Cienfuegos plays it to center. Gets it right back. Cienfuegos plays for the Los Angeles Galaxy. Not in this stadium, but in the Rose Bowl.
Good to see Cienfuegos dribble the ball, but taking just one too many people on.
Manuel crosses, ball loose, in front, the shot, and the goal! Elber with his second.
Alas, we see Zagallo smile, both because his Brazil now has 4 goals. That ought to quiet the media a little bit. Secondly is because people will say, what a great substitution by bringing Elber on. Horrendous defensive mistake here, trying to head the ball back to his goalkeeper. Giovanni Elber doing a little fancy footwork as he back heels this ball between the legs of goalkeeper Alfaro.
It is showtime now for Brazil. They're up 4-0. And remember, El Salvador has to tee it up again less than 24 hours from now.
Well, the good news is that should Brazil, if Jamaica were to tie or lose to Salvador tomorrow and then enable Brazil to advance as the first place team, they'll then have a couple of extra days rest, not having to play their semifinal until Thursday.
Another through ball, another chance. It hit the post. An open net to shoot at for Romario.
Well, Brazil is just turning it on. Salvador having a virtually stopped playing. Romario with a difficult angle to shoot from. Still plenty within a scoring position. Sees his shot go off the post.
Has El Salvador just stopped playing?
Well, they have resigned themselves to defeat. Their defenders are not tracking back, as Romario potentially in an offside position on his run, but still as a defender you chase.
And you know the interesting thing, as the whistle sounds, no corners, no offsides in the second half, and that man, Giovanni Elber, 2 goals down the stretch, an impressive outing for Brazil as they win it, going away 4-0 over El Salvador. Mario Zagallo, is the pressure off him? I would think so. Stay with us, more to come as we continue from Los Angeles here on Fox Sports.